Good evening, I hope you're well. It's Dave the Urban Survivalist back again. I hope you had a good Christmas, New Year period. I've personally been off for a couple of months. Back injury through training and martial arts and stuff like that. I'm just becoming an old boy and these injuries seem to hang on for a lot longer. But positive note, back into training, on the mend, and lots coming up. Now tonight I want to talk about a video that's going around on the internet. I'll explain it and then I'll show the video after. But first of all, it's been a strange year already, hasn't it? It's been a really strange year. We started off the year with some really strange stories. Now the first one is this one. Shadow aliens shopping in Miami. Again, totally insane. I watched a video of it. It turned out to be a huge riot amongst a gang of kids or gang members fighting. The actual aliens, what I saw and what I've looked into, they were pictures of people just walking down the street and lights had hit them in a certain angle. Again, I don't know 100%. I mean, you don't know what to believe nowadays, do you? But the thing that concerned me about it, the huge police presence for... I mean, they reckon what I saw is about 30 to 50 youths fighting or gang members fighting. There was probably double that in cars. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible. But shadow demon aliens or whatever they were, that was the first story that we had this, or that I'm going to mention this year. And then the second one was the underground tunnels under a synagogue in Brooklyn. Anyone that saw the pictures and the films of it, there was a lot of, let's say, the community in the synagogue at the time, and they were pulling out stained mattresses. And again, I have to be careful what I say. So members of the community, they were coming out everywhere. They were coming out holes in the wall. They were pulling mattresses out with them. They were coming out drains outside. It was insane. It was totally fucking insane. But I'm sure there's something really, really untoward going on there. But again, I don't think anyone's any the wiser in a minute, but I'm sure it'll come out in the end. Now, another one. The whole thing that's been going on for years is the Epstein client list. And what surprised me, made me chuckle a little bit, I guess, with my sixth sense humour. But Stephen Hawking, I think that's how you say it, and don't hate me on this because Snopes have fact-checked it and said that he was there apparently, so it must be true because we all know that everything they fact-check is true. But, I mean, this was a whole different video that I did on Facebook, and Facebook decided to remove my live video. But anyway, yeah, so Stephen Hawking was over there for some reasons. I'm not quite sure. I've seen a lot of theories to it from people that are not as tall, writing on big boards that they can't reach, doing hard maths. Again, it's fucking insane, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's but anyway. So yeah, those three things, have a little look at because they're quite interesting and a bit disturbing, to be honest. Yeah. So anyway, so what we're on today. As a survivalist or prepper, whatever you consider yourself, whether you're an armchair enthusiast, you just you know, bit of survival, you do a bit of prepping, you store a bit of food, right? I would assume that you're on this channel because either you hate me or you're interested in what I've got to say and what we're doing here, right? So, kind of like-minded. Like I say, I'll show you the video at the end. But this might be of interest to you. You might have seen it, you might not have seen it, right? Now, after a few shit years, and let's be honest, it's been a few shit years, right? Pandemic, no matter what you think about it, it's been going on. Cost of living crisis, etc., etc. Every fucker hates each other. There's been disturbances about this and that. All right, we've had the Ukraine thing. We've had the Israel-Hamas thing. Lots of shit going on, right? Now, NATO, after these few shit years that we have, NATO gives you hope of another few shit years because they're nice like that. So, like, they're coming out and saying that we've got a possibility of war. Right now, a top military officer has warned people could be conscripted into the armed forces after NATO admitted it's preparing for an all-out war with Russia. It's nothing new, is it? Admiral Rob Bauer, I think that's how you say it, chairman of NATO's military committee, delivers a speech saying that civilians must brace themselves for the prospect of being called up for military service I mean, that'd be interesting. If you look at society now, people identify as all sorts. They don't know what sex they are. There's so much weird shit going on in here. I don't know how that would work with drafting a lot of people into battle. Yeah, that'll be interesting anyway. So, but he's saying that in a stark warning, he said we must be ready for a full-scale conflict with Russia in the next 20 years that will completely change lives. Now, NATO has warned that the West should step up preparations for the unexpected, including a war with Russia, as Moscow's full-scale invasion of the Ukraine is nearing the 2-year mark amid worries over possible political fatigue among some of the Kiev's Western allies. Now, I don't even know what that means, but yeah. We have to realise it is not given that we are in peace, he said. Also, there's a military manoeuvre exercise involving over 90,000 troops, the largest of its kind, apparently. There are talks of conscription, national service, and also preparing essentials, or at least 36 hours now, like basics for survival. Now, for all you people that are against prepping and survivalists as such, this is even on the government site. The UK government site, gov.uk, disaster preparedness, will tell you to prepare for at least 3 days. This is food, water, candles, torches, radio, etc., etc. Although the guy on this video don't seem to really have a clue about what to prepare, he's like torches. Yeah, you'll see the video. Do you know what I mean? It gives you a poor example to what to prepare. So we're going to say, always remember the basics. Always remember the basics. Think of water, food, a way to cook, a way to keep warm and light. There's lots of other things, but if you stick to these emergency things, you should be fine. Also, there's lots of tips on this channel and other linked Facebook pages, Instagram and stuff like that. He also gives comments like, if we go to war, the whole of society will be affected and be drafted into it. I mean, that's a certainty anyway, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look at the video and then we'll have a look at your comments after.
We today announced the kickoff of Exercise Steadfast Defender 2024, which commences next week and runs through May. Steadfast Defender 24 will be the largest NATO exercise in decades, with participation from approximately 90,000 forces from all 31 allies, plus our good partner, Sweden. The alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce the Euro-Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. This reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario against a near-peer adversary. Steadfast Defender 24 will be a clear demonstration of our unity, our strength, and our determination to protect each other, to protect, of course, our values and the rules-based international order.
Sorry, the big difference with a year ago, I would say, Terry, is that there's a lot of things that have happened in the armed forces and in the defense organizations. What hasn't happened is in our societies the understanding that it is more than the military that has to be able to operate in a conflict or in a war. It is the whole of society that will get involved, whether we like it or not. That realization, we didn't talk about that much a year ago. If you look back to last year, what has happened in our alliance with regard to the battle groups that we set up, if you look back to the training, the fact that we now have Steadfast Defender with 90,000 troops, that is a record number. That is a record number of troops that we can bring to bear and have an exercise with in that size. Across the alliance, across the ocean, from the US to Europe, in Europe. That is a big change. People find it a surprise and as a result buy a radio on batteries. That is great. It is part of the package that the Swedish government is talking about. You need to have water, you need to have a radio on batteries, and you need to have a flashlight on batteries to make sure that you can survive the first 36 hours. Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be honky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, But we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans.
So there you go. So there's the video. To me, the guy speaking comes across as a little bit nervous, like not professional. But again, that's just my point of view. Now, I get what people are saying, because it's the same thing every year, isn't it? It's wars and rumours of wars. More fear instilled into the people, more political propaganda, more power struggles everywhere. But what do you think this could be this time? Do you think it's like more fear porn? Or do you think this is actually going to be the time where it kicks off? I'd like to see your thoughts on this, because I've got my thoughts on it, and I'm just wondering if people are on the same kind of wavelength. I mean, wouldn't it be nice just to have 10 years with no dramas, no political bullshit, no wars, no cost of living crisis, no bloody riots, no like division, no homelessness? All these things could actually be avoided. But you know what? They won't, because there's money for the people at the top in all these things. Pandemics, wars, homelessness, political agendas, all these things. They'll always be there. It's always been the way the rich get rich and the poor get poorer. But let me know what you think about this, because I'm quite interested to see people's views of this, because again, we're all different and we all think different. Anyway, lots coming up on the channel in a minute. I just want to share this video just in case you haven't seen it. Lots coming up at the moment. I'm out in the woods again in a couple of weeks. There's going to be some more self-defense stuff coming up, because like now the club's getting all sorted, and I'm training hard at judo and doing MMA and stuff like this. And like I said, the injuries are getting bad, but I'm still going. All right, so it's been emotional, and I'll catch you soon.